Hello everybody, we are going to wrap up the year with part of the circles unit, and so you have 5 academic days left, 4 which will probably be new content, and then the last day will probably be a quiz or test. So be looking for that information to be coming out on Classroom soon. Okay, I don't really care about this. I really just wanted the picture, but I couldn't have the picture without having that information. But we're going to use this picture for these definitions. So let's jump in. Okay, so the central angle is an angle in a circle. Whose vertex is the center of the circle. Sorry about the handwriting. My Apple Pen, which is what I usually use, as my birthday present. I think I mentioned that before, which it's worked out really nicely for all this. But it's dead, so I am using the Chromie stylus. But anyway, so a central angle is an angle whose, it's in a circle, and the vertex of the angle is the center of the circle, okay? So usually there will be a dot in the center of the circle indicating that it is the center, and then it's just these angles, like angle 1 and angle 2, that use the vertex, for example, in this circle. So angle 1 and angle 2, they are central angles. Okay, so when we talk about circles, circles have 2 parts, and I've talked about this before when we did arc length, but they actually have the length of the arc. Okay, so maybe this arc is 4 meters, but then there's also the measure of the arc, and so you guys are familiar with this from that. But a minor arc is an arc that measures less than 180 degrees. So 180 degrees is half of a circle, and a minor arc is less than half of a circle. When we name a minor arc, we use the 2 endpoints of the arc. So we might refer to this arc right here as GF. That would be minor. And then it gets an arc symbol over here. Okay. We might refer to it as, or we might refer to arc EF. That would be another example of a minor arc. We could look at arc DG. Okay. So that's less than half of the circle. So that's another minor arc. All right. So minor arcs, we use 2 letters and they measure less than half of the circle. If we're looking at exactly half of a circle, like this appears to be half, okay, that's a semicircle. So an arc that measures 180 degrees. And so usually we use 2 letters for this. Every once in a while you will see an arc that is a semicircle with 3 letters. So we could say arc DF, or sometimes you'll see arc DGF. And so either way, it starts at point D, okay, passes through G, and it finishes at F. Now, I'm making an assumption that that's, oops, I don't know where that left off, but I hope not too far. Oh boy, I don't know, it stopped. But anyway, I don't like making an assumption that that is a semicircle, okay? Bad idea. You know how I feel about assumptions. But I just wanted to talk about a semicircle, and I don't have that radius right there to know for sure that that's a semicircle. Okay, so a major arc is an arc that measures greater than 180 degrees. All right, now to name a major arc, we use 3 letters. So if we want to talk about this arc that starts at G, passes through D, and finishes all the way over here at F, okay, then we use those 3 letters, and we refer to that as arc G, D, F. Or we could call the same arc G, E, F, because E is also between G and F. So it doesn't matter, but you use 3 letters all the time. Your starting point, a point between them, and then your end point of your arc. Okay. We could look at another major arc. We could look at arc E, D, G. That would be another example. And then just like angles, you can reverse this, right? Arc EDG is the same as arc GDE. So that is that. Now, when we talk about the measures of arcs, it's pretty straightforward. If you know the central angle, then that's the measure of the arc. So if angle 1 measures 40 degrees, then the measure of arc GF is also 40 degrees. So let's see here. We'll say the measure of angle 1 is 40 degrees. Oh, I'm just really struggling to get that in there. Then the measure of arc GF is also 40 degrees. And the way we write that is the measure of arc GF, it's like an angle, put the measure sign in front of it, is equal to 40 degrees. Okay, so that's how we write measures. All right, I think that pretty well covers our vocab. And let's take a look at some examples. So, name the arc made by the given angle. So, we're going to look at angle GQF. So, angle GQF, it actually intercepts 2 arcs. It intercepts this minor arc, GF, and on your homework, this is going to be multiple choice, right? So you're going to just choose it. But it also intercepts, and I'm not really a big fan of this, but I know that it does it, this major arc. Ooh, sorry, we have a very angry 4-year-old, if you can hear him yelling in the background. But it starts at G. We have to choose a point that it passes through to make it major, like E and F. Okay, so the minor arc for that angle is GF. The major arc for that angle is GEF. All right. Oh, see, now I know what the difference is. So this one is going to tell us it's a major arc. So I guess if it just is the angle, then it's just the minor arc. All right, which is good because I wasn't sure how you were supposed to know the difference. So, sorry, this is not how we usually do these things. But anyway, a major arc for angle CQE. So if this is the angle we're referring to, then the major arc that uses those 2 points on the rays of the angle has to be bigger than 180. So we're going to go the longer direction. So that is going to be arc CDE. So, okay, so if it says major arc, then you know you got to go more than 180 and 3 letters. If it doesn't tell you, then you're just looking at the minor arc that it intercepts. All right, sorry about that. Okay, then we have name the central angle for the given arc. So if we have arc EGF, that's major, so it's more than 180. So we're going to start at E, pass through G, finish at F, okay? So that means that the starting and ending point uses these 2 endpoints. So the angle is angle EQF. All right. If we're looking at arc JI, that arc is minor, and it still is intercepted by the angle JQI. All right, so that is that. All right, let's talk about the measures. Let's look at some examples where we need to find the measures of arcs and angles. Okay, so in number 7, it asks us to find the measure of the arc or angle indicated. And then it says, assume that lines that appear to be diameters are actual diameters. So the way you would know that is if it was like a straight line. So like this one is a straight line, this one is a straight line. So those are diameters, and that's going to be very helpful information. Okay, number 7. So we are looking for the measure of this arc. Oh, I just love it when they use a question mark like that, because then we don't even have a notation that we're used to using. But so that's a minor arc, and it is intercepted by this central angle. So if it's the central angle, then that angle is also 87 degrees. Okay. In number 8, we are trying to find the measure of arc VU. So we have to do, these are kind of like puzzles. So if you've been spending a lot of quarantine time doing puzzles, you'll be in good shape. So we need to use the fact that this is a diameter, which means that this measures 180 degrees. And then we've got this 50-degree angle right here, which means that this arc is also 50. So I'm going to label that 50 degrees here. So, and then remember all this out here. I don't really like that. Sorry. I'm going to not do any of that. I just want to erase this. But all of this right here, this arc XWU is a semicircle, so that's the 180. So to find what's left, we can do 180 minus 50, and that's 130. And then we know that these two angles right here are congruent. So if this is 130 degrees between the two of them and they're congruent, we divide it by half, or divide it by 2, we have it. And each of these angles is 65 degrees. I'm sorry, each of those arcs is 65 degrees. So the measure of arc VU is 65. If you want to pause and take a look at 10 and 11 and then check your work, this would be a really good time to do that. So I'm going to go ahead with number 9. The measure of arc XZ. So first of all, it's minor, so it's less than 180, and it is this guy right here. So it's actually the sum of 2 minor arcs if we can get as small as they go. All right, so we don't have a lot of information because none of them are congruent. We know that 66 and 72 is given. So we need to take advantage of these diameters. So there's 180 degrees here. There's 180 degrees here. Okay, and that's going to help us figure this out. So if this is a diameter and that's 180 degrees, then this arc is 66, and then we have our 72 here. And so then this is going to be 180 minus 66 and 72, and that is 42 degrees. I'm struggling with this stylus. Okay, and then we have another diameter here, so we've got another 180 degrees, and we're going to take away this 72 and this 42 and be left with that arc XY. So 180 minus 72 minus 42 is 66 degrees. So we've got that. And then the measure of arc XZ is the sum of those, because we start here X, finish at Z, is 66 plus 42, which is 108, I believe. And there's the measure of our arc, 108. Okay. Now we're going to mix in some variables, although this one looks to be pretty straightforward. because we have these two congruent central angles, which means these two arcs are also congruent. And we are trying to find the measure of arc JF. All right, so if those angles are congruent, that means our arcs are congruent. We can write an equation where 5x plus 8 equals 6x minus 1. We will solve for x. And it's x minus 1 equals 8. We'll add our 1 and we get x is equal to 9. Now, remember that you need to go back and actually answer the question. So if x is equal to 9, we're going to substitute x in here for that central angle. 5 times 9 plus 8 is 53, which means that arc FJ is also 53 degrees. And we need to write that. So the measure of arc JF is equal to 53 degrees. Okay, that is it. So, you have homework on KudoWorks, and don't forget that your research test is due early next week, depending on who your teacher is. It might be due on Monday at a certain time. I don't recall, maybe 10 a.m. But anyway, get your homework done today and have a great weekend and stay warm because this weather is garbage. And I think it's just maybe Mother Nature's way of saying, na 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 boo boo, you have to be stuck at home. So I'm gonna have a polar vortex in May, and they were talking about snow in May, which is just absurd. So anyway, have a good weekend. I'll stop rambling now. Bye.